Alright, so for the last lesson, lesson 4, we're going to work on gradients. So you're going to open up 5-2, go to our folder, open up 5-2. Alright, so you should have just like 4 blocks and a circle right here. Alright, we're going to save this as making the gradient. So save making the gradient. Okay. So we've saved that as making the gradient, then we're going to click to our swatches panel, which is already active for me. And I'm going to click create a, I'm going to go right here to my options and then a new gradient swatch. So once I click that, in the swatch name box, I'm going to type blue/gold, actually spell gold correctly, and red linear. And just do little slashes in between. Click the left color stop on the gradient. Lost my place. On the gradient ramp. So here's my gradient ramp right here. Okay. So I'm going to click on the left color stop, which is this little guy right here. And then so then I'm going to click the stop color list arrow. So stop color list arrow right here. And then I'm going to click swatches. Alright, and so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on blue. So I'm just going to click blue right there. And then I'm going to click on the right color stop, so right there. I'm going to change that to swatches, just like I just did, swatches, and I'm going to go to red. Alright, so we should have there. Now we're going to click directly below the color, right below it, so I'm just click anywhere like right in here. Right in the middle, and I'm going to type 50 in the location box. So I want to be right exactly in the 50. So that puts me exactly in the middle. Okay. Right there. And so what we're going to do for this one is we're going to change this color stop. We're going to do swatches, and we're going to change it to the gold right here. Alright, so you should have blue, gold, and red right there. The gold one you have added at the 50% location. Alright. Next you're going to say OK. And so now that has been added to that. So we're going to create a radial gradient swatch now, and we're going to go to new gradient swatch, new gradient swatch. Okay. So in the swatch name box we're going to type cyan radial. And then type list arrow, we're going to choose radial instead of linear. So obviously from the name that's what we're going for. We're not doing something linear. Alright, so we're going to click in the center color stop. So we're going to click the center color stop right here. And we're going to drag it down to remove it. So we're just going to drag it straight down, and that kind of gets rid of it. Okay, so now we're going to click the left one, and we're going to click CMYK. And then we're going to put each one on 0. So doop, doop, oopsie. Go to 0, buddy. Alright, so all of those are going to be to 0, so that it looks kind of like this. Okay, so it should have be like red to, like white to red right here. Okay, so now we're going to click our right color stop, and then we are going to go to CMYK as our stop color. CMYK, stop color. And then we're going to drag cyan to 100%, and then the magenta, yellow, and black to 0. So all these other ones to 0. So we should have this just pure cyan color. Alright, so once you have those, you're going to click OK. Alright, so hopefully everybody's there. Alright, next step is you're going to click on the selection tool, which I already have active, and then you're going to click the border of the top rectangular frame. Okay, you're going to verify that your fill button is active, so I just want to make sure fill is the front one, not your stroke. And then we are going to click the blue, gold, red linear. So I'm just going to apply that one. So I selected that and just click this button. Now we're going to click the gradient swatch tool on the toolbar. So this guy right here. Okay, and then using just kind of, you're going to have to follow me in just a second. So we're going to place that anywhere on the top edge of the rectangle frame and click and drag down and release the button on the edge of the frame. So, we are going to, again, anywhere on the top edge. So we're going to click, put our little crosshairs right here, and we're just going to click and drag straight down. Okay, so once you click and drag straight down like that, it should look kind of like that. Mine was a little crooked. So there you go. Alright, so that's what it should look like at this point. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do from the bottom middle handle of the frame. So bottom middle of the frame to the top right frame. So we're going to just go diagonal like that. Okay. And then we're going to drag it from the left edge of the document to the right edge. So it's from left, right here, over to the right. Okay, you can kind of see it depends. If you're using the gradient tool right there, it's going to change the way that the gradient looks and how it's dragged. Okay, and now we're going to left and right, so we're just going to go a short distance right there. And you see, depending on how far you drag it, changes how it is. And so, yeah, so that's about kind of where you should be. And I just did mostly from like right here-ish to there. Okay? Alright, so what you're going to do next is you're going to get your selection tool. And we're going to click the edge of the circle frame. Okay? And then we're going to click on our Scion Radial on the swatches panel, and we're going to click our gradient, gradient tool, right there, and we're going to drag from the center of the circle to the bottom edge of the circle. So we're going to go from like right here to right there. Okay? So that doesn't really make much difference on our circle, because that's kind of how it was already doing. But if you were to do the center point of the circle, bottom edge of the center of the circle, center rectangle. Okay, so that's what ours looks like. Okay, we're good. And then you can also do it like that, and it changes it, but I'm going to go back in the middle and do the way it is. So you can just see when you're using that gradient tool, you can play with how your gradient actually looks. That's not perfect. There we go. That's better. Alright, the next we're going to do is we're going to click on the window and then go to color and gradient to open up your gradient panel. So we're going to go to window, and we are going to go down to color and then open up gradient. And so there's a whole gradient little panel right here that we're going to open up that we can play with. Okay, so we're going to deselect everything by clicking our pasteboard. So I'm going to get my selection tool, I'm going to click on my pasteboard. Okay. And then I'm going to select the 3 rectangular frames above the circle. So these 3 empty frames right there. And I just clicked and drag. You can just click each one individually with shift in the middle, but that's kind of annoying, and you can just click and drag. Now I'm going to get my swatches. I'm going to get blue, gold, red, and apply those. So that applies to those frames individually right there. Okay. Alright. Next thing we're going to do, so with those selected, we're going to get our gradient swatch tool, which is this button guy right here. So G is the quickest way to get that. You can remember G for gradient. And then we're going to drag it from the left edge of the leftmost frame to the right edge of the rightmost frame. So you're going to click right here and just drag all the way across. Okay, and so what you can see what it does is it does, because I had all this selected, it did the gradient for the entire piece rather than just the one little bit. Okay. We're going to get our selection tool, and we're going to click on the rectangle frame at the very top, so that one. And we're going to remove the gold center stop from the radiant thing, so we're just going to get rid of him right there. So when you can see when it goes away, it's just like blues and reds right there. Alright, so we're going to file and save where you are, right here. I'm going to go back and fix my little circle because my little circle got messed up again. Oopsie. Undo. Click on that. Get my gradient. That's close enough. Alright. So once I have that done, I am good. So this is actually what I want you to do a screenshot of for lesson 4. So as you can see, all of chapter 5 was pretty simple and easy. Just screenshot right there, and actually if you have your swatches panel open, that'd be better. So whenever you do that, do your one with your swatches panel open so I can see that all 4 rectangles, the circle, and your swatches are showing. Alright, and that's it for lesson 4.